Hello there, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news, we're going to talk about the Hall of Fame worthy debutante coming at AEW Revolution.
2 huge title matches announced for next week's NXT.
William Regal has promised a major, game-changing announcement for next week's NXT.
And Cody Rhodes claims that Pat McAfee is trying to get a job at AEW every other day. I'm Adam Wilborn.
And I'm Andy Murray.
And this is the news.
But before we fire into today's stories, just a little word to Jim Crockett Jr., who has sadly passed away at 76 years old, one of the most influential and important wrestling promoters of all time. Thoughts and prayers go out to his family. And you know, it's appropriate that we start with an AEW story today because Jim Crockett Jr.'s fingerprints are all over the modern AEW product. And not just because Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard, JJ Dillon, Tony Schiavone, all of his old regulars, they were on last night's show. But rest in peace, Jim. One of my personal all-time favourite products is JCP. So it's a sad day. But we're going to kick things off by talking Paul Wight, who debuted on last night's Dynamite. It was his first proper appearance alongside Tony Schiavone, talking about a whole bunch of different things. But the most newsworthy item to come from this is that Paul Wight claimed he had, what do you call it, the biggest scoop ever for Tony. To boil down to it, basically he said there's a debut coming at Revolution. A big name is arriving at Revolution. It is somebody who is Hall of Fame worthy, somebody who's going to be a huge benefit to AEW, and you guys are not going to see it coming. So it's interesting that he's made such a grand proclamation because on the pre-Revolution media call last night, Cody Rhodes actually spoke specifically about not bait and switching people on TV. So now they kind of have to live up to this announcement. They can't let you down. They can't go, hey, here's our announcement. It's Jimmy Peep from the Indies. It has to be someone who's Hall of Fame worthy. But Adam Wilborn, that's a short list in the year of our Lord 2021. Who's realistically available? CM Punk? I mean, it's the thing we talk about constantly, but it always feels like it's never going to happen. Batista? I have no idea, man. What do you make of this? And do you have any thoughts on who it might be?
Well, like you say, they are really... I thought it was a sensational go-home show ahead of Revolution. I mean, we haven't got time to talk about Shaq's show-stealing performance in that opener or Tully. All I'll say is, myself and the Dudley Boys will go into all the details you need. Just check out the WhatCulture Wrestling podcast by searching for WhatCulture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcast from, for more details on that. But yeah, like... haven't they teased another announcement for the Face of the Revolution ladder match, I'm thinking? There's a team to be announced in the Casino Tag Battle Royal, and now this, and with all the mad matches as we've already got announced for Revolution, it's going to be a huge show. Very interesting to see the buy rate, especially off the back of this TV. But like you say, I've seen speculation online, and there is no definitive answer from people. I've seen CM Punk being suggested, which... yeah, I can see that happening. AJ Lee is another name, related obviously to CM Punk, or the other half of CM Punk, I should say. Brock Lesnar, people have been saying. Like, I'd like to point out The Undertaker, maybe, who knows? I have no idea, but I'm glad I'm going to be watching. And, of course, we will be doing the live stream for AEW Revolution on Sunday night on WhatCulture Wrestling's YouTube channel. Join us for that, because we have to find out what this huge announcement is.
We surely do. We surely do.
Any guesses from you?
Gangrel? Why not? Hey, he was on the last pay-per-view. Why not get him in?
Exactly. Right, let's pivot over to NXT. Sort of a second thought after that Dynamite show, but NXT still had an enjoyable show last night with 2 huge matches being announced, as well as a bloody screw job in that women's tag team title match. But yes, next week on NXT, if they're leaving Wednesday nights, they're going out with a bang, because it is going to be Finn Balor versus Adam Cole for the NXT Championship, and as has been teased in recent weeks, it will be Io Shirai versus Toni Storm. Both of these sort of fallouts from Vengeance Day. Obviously, we had Adam Cole super kicking Finn Balor as Vengeance Day the takeover Vengeance Day went off the air, and Toni Storm was involved in a triple threat match, but wasn't the one pinned by Io Shirai, and to her case, probably had Mercedes Martinez beat before Io Shirai moonsaulted on top of her, basically. So 2 great matches to look forward to next week, Andy.
Yeah, good stuff. Big, huge matches, takeover caliber, certainly. But it's a different game in 2021, isn't it? Like, TV is now the main source of revenue, so the idea of like burning matches or wasting them on TV isn't really all that relevant anymore, because TV's more important to the company's business, and that's why we saw things like Sasha versus Bayley 2 going down on SmackDown last year. I'm going to use the counter-programming word. I know people will get upset by that, but it's a clear attempt for me at like trying to pop a decent number opposite the AEW Revolution Fallout show, and it'll probably work because Io Shirai is a proven ratings draw, and these are big matches that people are excited to see. I'm really excited for both of those matches personally. So, hey, no complaints here, man. I'm sure they're both going to be absolute bangers, and they make sense in storyline as well. It's good stuff.
Yeah, and in my opinion, at least one will go to a clean finish. So,
wow, that's a bold proclamation in WWE. William Regal, he's going to make a big announcement on next week's episode of NXT. And I actually saw this headline before watching NXT last night, and I thought straight away, yeah, he's going to announce that they're moving from Wednesdays to Tuesdays. That'll be the huge announcement. He said it's going to change the landscape of NXT, but it's not that. It's actually relating to the women's tag team title. So last night's match between Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez ended in shenanigans. The referee, Aja Smith, took a bump. This did not go particularly well. Out came basically, Adam Pearce came out with a referee from Raw. Sean Bennett is his name. Raquel Gonzalez and Nia Jax were neutralized on the outside. Shayna Baszler had Kai in a Kirifuda clutch, and even though Kai wasn't the legal woman, Bennett called for the bell. The match was over. Jax and Baszler retain, a whole shenanigan screw job. Bennett and Pearce have both tweeted about this after the show. Pearce is saying, "I'm grateful to have had you ready when referee Aja Smith went down. Don't listen to the vitriol, Sean. You called the action in front of you, and none of us can ask for any more than that." It's, the kayfabe thing here clearly appears to be Adam Pearce trying to keep the titles on the main roster, which is his home, rather than them going over to Kai and Gonzalez, which for me would have been a really compelling title change. But William Regal was not happy about this afterwards. He told the world he's got a big landscape-altering announcement. I suspect it will be a follow-up on this. I almost called you Williams. Adam Williams, what do you reckon?
I enjoyed that title match last night. Was annoyed by that finish, but I suppose that is achieving its plan at the beginning of it all. Like you say, I was hoping that they would transition the NXT the titles onto NXT, because I think they've got such a rich women's tag division, especially being established more after that Women's Dusty Cup. I feel like Adam Pearce has suffered enough, because there was footage of William Regal shouting at him in a back room, and I wouldn't wish that on anyone. I love William Regal. He's a terrifying man. And yes, no doubt, intrigue around the fallout from this. Big show on NXT next week to counter, what will be no doubt a big show on Dynamite, all the fallout from AEW Revolution. Finally, speaking of AEW, Cody Rhodes, as Andy mentioned on that call yesterday, talking about Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee, basically, in the build to the Shaq match, someone had tweeted out saying that it's going to be Shaq had claimed, I think, that it was going to be the best celebrity match ever. And Pat McAfee quote tweeted it saying, "It won't." And it's been a whole back and forth. And basically, Cody Rhodes has claimed that Pat McAfee's trying to get a job at AEW like every other day. Cody described Pat McAfee's comments regarding the match as bizarre. And McAfee, on his own Sirius XM show, said that what Cody's insisting is also not true. It's a lot of he said, she said sort of thing. Or he said, I suppose, in this scenario. McAfee saying, "I'd like it to be known it's not true. I've actually contemplated retirement more than I've contemplated going to AEW. I have been in a little bit of a spat with Rusev, an old friend of ours now, Miro. He came after us, then we kind of flipped the script on him a little bit, and Shaq, obviously. I do have to watch that match tonight, but aside from that, I am not. I would like that to be very clear." It's as clear as mud, this, Andy. I've no idea what's going on.
Yeah, me neither. I like how you transitioned into the American accent midway through that quote.
You can't help but read his comments in an American accent, can you?
You just got to go in there. Yeah, I mean, this is fun. This stuff is fun. I love little bits and pieces like this. Just little harmless snipes back and forth. It does no one any harm whatsoever. Just enjoy this pseudo shoot, man. And you know, Pat McAfee's kind of right. Like, how could you ever get a better celebrity match than McAfee versus Adam Cole? That match was outrageous. It was so good. But Shaq and Jade versus Red Velvet and Cody did turn out to be pretty damn fun itself. So, you know, everyone wins. It's a really good time to be a wrestling. We say that all the time, but it's true.
Yeah, exactly. Don't get tribal about this. This is just a bit of fun between Cody and Miro and Shaq and Pat McAfee. Anything that gets Pat McAfee back inside a wrestling ring is good by me. Right, let's move on to your Twitter questions at WhatCulture WWE, of course. First question today comes from Mad Pancakes, who says, "Morning, lads. I was a big fan of the corporate headquarters Money in the Bank ladder match last year. Would you bring the same match back this year? I think it's a cool change. Also, who would you want to win? I'd choose John Morrison and Liv Morgan."
Interesting. Personally, I wouldn't go back to it. I think one was kind of enough. For me, for my tastes, I appreciate, however, that in this era of wrestling, you need to come up with creative ideas to fill these empty-ass arenas. So I wouldn't be upset if they did it again, but I prefer a more traditional presentation with the Money in the Bank. As far as who should win it this year, when are they going to give Naomi a chance, man? When are they going to give her an opportunity? I think she'd be a really good Money in the Bank briefcase holder. She deserves more than losing in 2 minutes on Raw. So absolutely. I think that would be really cool to see.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've exhausted kind of everything they could do in the corporate headquarters thing. And it would be weird to have fans back for WrestleMania and unless some big rules change, then not have a big arena show for Money in the Bank the month or so after. Completely agree. Naomi's a great shout. A glow-in-the-dark Money in the Bank briefcase as well would be sensational. And the only man who can save the men's Money in the Bank briefcase is Adam Cole. I said it at the end of last year. I'll say it again. Just give it Adam Cole. It's right there, for God's sake. Right, Marcus Ham, second question of the day, says, "Good morning, you legends." Morning to you, Marcus. Given how MVP transformed Lashley into a beast, which one female superstar would you want MVP to transform into a beast as well?
Yeah, MVP has done a phenomenal job with everyone in the Hurt Business. He's fantastic. This is a tremendous run. Man, how about Shayna Baszler?
Yes!
There are still elements of beastliness to her performance, but she's definitely not the killer she used to be in NXT. And I think a guy like MVP, Shayna's a decent promo, but she's not as good as MVP, who's phenomenal. So I think that pairing could do wonders for the Queen of Spades.
Yeah, the first name I thought of, again, spot on that, Andy. Right, final question today comes from Rahul V. Krishnan. You can probably guess why I picked this question out. Rahul writes, "I'm a big fan of Adam Wilborn's different accents. So if you guys could fantasy book and make a WWE superstar speak in a specific accent, then which superstar and what accent would you choose? I'll go with Braun screaming in a Russian accent."
What? Okay. Well, seeing as we live here in the great city of Newcastle upon Tyne, England, I want somebody on WWE television to take on the thickest Geordie accent imaginable. How about Wade Barrett? He's English already. He's from a totally different part of the country, but never mind that. Do you not want a commentator the whole damn show screaming WWE cliches like, "Hi man, welcome to Wednesday night NXT. I've got me brown ale, I've got me Stotty, Alan Shearer's over there. Let's go. Way Freddie Shepherd, Jimmy Neal."
Who's editing this news? Because they're in trouble right about now.
Yeah, sorry, Ben Roy.
Oh, right, Ben Roy, yeah. I like what you're doing. I'll do you one better. Michael Cole going, "It's last time, mate. Oh, how weird. That is vintage, mate."
Here comes the fucking dog, man. Oh, my. Sorry, Geordies. I'm really sorry. Don't
sorry, Ben Roy, as well.
No, man, he's got a study and he's on the railroad tracks.
The miracle kid! The miracle kid! For the love of mankind!
Peter Beardsley!
Peter Beardsley, man!
Lucky.
Howie! Yeah, switching gears, like. Howie! Oh, God, Ben Roy's going to have a right job on his hands sorting that one out. Apologies, mate. Let's move on to today's ad finally. I just wanted to share this lovely photo of Marco stumping his favourite wrestler, Paul Wight, the Big Show. But it's all kind of been lost now because we've shouted so upset that he's in Geordie for 2 minutes. But congratulations, Marco. I'm very happy for you. I know how happy you were when you saw that Paul Wight had joined AEW and your wish has been achieved. All now that has to happen is presumably he chokeslams you and you enter Valhalla, I would guess. Let us know your thoughts on that and our exceptional Geordie accents. In the comments section below. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And as I said earlier, subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling for daily wrestling podcasts, including the Wednesday Night War review with myself and the Dudley Boys. Let us know your thoughts and Twitter questions. You're taking your life into your own hands, aren't you? At WhatCulture WWE Watch, they can follow both of us. Follow Andy Murray at
Andy H. Murray. The H stands for Aware.
Absolutely, Aware. Follow me at Adam Wellborn. Thanks to Rahul for ruining everyone's day. Thanks to Andy for doing the news with me, and thanks to you for joining us. I need to lie down. See you soon. See you later.